Are we live?
We are live, Yvette.
Yes! Oh, we're live. Hold on, you guys. I am going to kick it off with a little bit of this. Welcome to the Bougie Sports Podcast. And no, your ears are not playing tricks on you. I did make the music go a little bit quiet at the ends for that added touch. What's up, everyone? I'm Yvette, and today is special because we are going to introduce the squad. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. It really helps the show for you guys to subscribe and comment along with us. As you can tell, as it opened, I'm just getting started, but at least we got the graphic on there, so that's good. All right, so let's get started. I want to introduce you guys to the squad. Right next to me, we have spicy Puerto Rican, but don't let that fool you because she is probably the biggest nerd I know with the sports collection. So that's Lysandra over there, the other Puerto Rican. Right underneath her, we have the Stefanski lover that might be a little bit on the scary side there, but that's okay. She's also our Virgin fantasy football player and our little athletic trainer, not athletic trainer, but health fitness girl, Lana. And next to Lana, every show has to have, the disgruntled person. And that is our Kevin Stefanski lookalike, Ryan. So Ryan, I'm glad you're back with us. Happy to see you.
Yeah, once in a while I get an invite thrown my way, so I figured I'd come hang out.
Well, yeah, because you could tell by your enthusiasm how happy you are to hear me. I'm joking. Let's just jump right into it. I mean, you guys, let's just take a second right now. It's football season. Can you believe it? I mean, we're actually here. We're not there, but we're close. I know, it's exciting. I know I've been to training camp. Lana was at training camp. The preseason's in gear. We had the Hall of Fame game. I think all the Browns starters are playing in the next game we have this week. Yes. We'll talk a little bit about everything that's going on in NFL, but let's just zone a little bit about the Browns. We got to see them play a little bit. Let's start with you, Ryan. What do you think about the Browns as far as what you see so far?
Oh, I think they look good so far. And I'm not saying because, wins and losses, but stuff in the preseason that I look for, not that I'm some expert, but just what I look for is like, can you get on the field? Can you get off the field? Are we getting riddled with penalties? Are we able to get in and out of the huddle? Just simple football things. Are you ready? Are you prepared? If you watch the Bills play recently, I watched a little bit of their game against Pittsburgh, that preseason game. They looked kind of a mess. So I would much rather look somewhat sufficient. And the other good thing is, in the last game, I know a lot of players that who knows if they'll be on the team, where they'll be. But those players still stepped up, played a good game, played the right way. And to me, going to our favorite coach, Kevin Stefanski, to me, that means he's doing a pretty good job. So is the coaching staff, when you can get players who are just coming through basically to be able to come together, look like an assembled unit, and be efficient. To me, I'm getting kind of excited just based on seeing how they've been able to operate in the preseason, regardless of what happens with the actual score.
Yeah. So, Lynn, you were actually at training camp. What did you see besides? I mean, did you stop looking at Kevin Stefanski to look at anything else, or?
No, I didn't. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was good. It was great. I think, the one thing that I've seen in even between preseason and then even at training camp, there is so much structure. If you look back pre-Kevin, let's say pre-K, there wasn't the structure that they have right now. training camp was kind of messy, and they go through their stations. They all look great. The one thing that I've noticed too with these games as well that makes me really excited is the defense. I mean, just a complete turnaround. And I think I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Speaking of defense, there was some reworking of some contracts to make a little bit of wiggle room. I think Myles Garrett was one of them. And then today, Dave Njoku. Lysandra, what do you think they're making all this caps money for? I mean, what do you think about it?
It's one of those things where you're not sure what Andrew Berry is cooking up in the scenes. And I think it has all of our Dog Pound Nation on edge because we're not sure what's going to happen. I do know that, a few people say we're trying to roll over that cap to the next season. I personally think maybe investing in another running back or maybe another linebacker might be the way to go. But for right now, I think we're just all kind of hanging on. Like, what's happening? It's just all of this excitement is just building up. And I really hope we don't get disappointed this year.
Yes. And Lysandra is not in Ohio anymore. Like many people know, it's kind of hard when you move away from your home state. And do you want to tell everyone where you're at, where you live in?
I'm in Denver. I'm in enemy territory. So over the years that I've lived here, I've always kind of taken the heat for being a Browns fan, and you always get the jokes at the bar like, hey, you remember the drive? No. I forgot. Okay. Or, so I've been defending my Browns with my loyalty for many years since I've been in Denver, and I proudly will continue. And I'm also married to a Broncos fan. So the crap talk is 24/7, 365. So, he'll throw like paper towels at me and he'll say, oh, you're just like a Browns receiver dropping it. And I'm just like,
and if he was talking about a Browns receiver, would he be talking about Anthony Schwartz? And speaking of Anthony Schwartz, is he going to stay on the team? What do you guys think? Is he making the cut?
I don't think so.
I think Watkins took his spot.
I do too. I
feel bad.
I hope he does.
I mean, Schwartz had a couple catches in the game, and for a minute I'm like, hallelujah, he made a couple catches, but Watkins is really shining in the preseason, and it's hard to see him not making the team this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's gotta go.
So let's talk a little bit about like Deshaun Watson. As far as him as a football player, last year we only seen a small sampling size. What do you guys think for him this year? I mean, what I hear, everything sounds great. I think the offense, it sounds like it's pretty good. I hope that all the pieces are coming together. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty excited about what the offense might look like. I actually think if everything goes right, and we know it's the Browns, so that doesn't mean it will. And that's all right if it doesn't. We know we're used to it. If we stink, so what? Such is life. Everything's normal. But you might see something if it works and everything goes the way it should, and I actually think it will. I think we got good people in charge now. We were just talking about the cap space. They did that because not only do they want to win this year, they want to win many of years. So that's why they do. While you have Andrew Berry, who's up there in the lab doing things for this year and next year. Think about all the vets that we have on one-year deals that we brought in. We just brought in a defensive lineman. We're bringing in guys, which I think is smart when you're ready to win now. And also you're setting yourself up to make those kind of signings next year as well and be able to keep some of your players. So to me, I'm getting excited because we're doing actual football things. And I think this offense this year, when you look at Watson, we haven't really seen a quarterback like that in Cleveland, who has that kind of arm talent, who can make plays on his feet, who really, when he looks at a defense and he can dissect it immediately, you can watch interviews of him doing that. He like sees everything, and he can be a coach on the field. And now you have weapons. We just talked about Watkins. You're waiting for, certain players to step up and take the job or become the person in that job. And Watkins is like, no, I want a job and I'm going to prove to you why. So with all these weapons, that Tillman, who man does Tillman
Oh.
look? He looks like Josh.
I love
just
him.
don't have
Mm,
wide receivers like that. I mean, I liked, Dell's great and Jarvis Landry, but they're not big guys. I mean, now you're seeing him, you're seeing Cooper, you're
Mhm.
seeing, Elijah Moore. Unfortunately, Goodwin, we don't know if he's going to play, but that stinks. But unfortunately, that kind of stuff happens. That's why you're happy to see somebody like a Watkins. So,
Mhm.
man, and I forgot about our running game. Nick Chubb. I know maybe we could use a backup running back, but if 18 of those carries are going to Nick Chubb, I don't really care who you give 5 to. Like you can give them to us, great. So I think you're going to see an offense this year that you've probably never seen before in Cleveland, if it works.
I'm
But
hoping so.
man, I think it could be electric to watch this team on offense.
Mhm.
oh,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's talk. You guys talked a little about running back. We're not going to do a game today, but we're going to do a game in the future called Marsha. And it reminded me of our running backs, the Marsha of the NFL. Not the Marsha, they'd be the Jan of the NFL, right? The
That's right.
Marsha would be the quarterbacks, probably.
Mhm.
Are the
Definitely.
running backs the Jan of the NFL? And right now, with all this running back, I think they're just kind of the talk of the season. Last year was probably the Browns were the drama. This year, I think the drama is really going to the running back. Obviously we have Jonathan Taylor. There's some running backs that just signed to like Dalvin Cook and Zeke Elliott on new teams. Leonard Fournette's still out there. What do you guys think as far as any of those changes? Do you guys have anything to say about those changes? Looking forward to that.
Was
I'm
it Cook Who went
interested-
to the Jets? Who went to the Jets?
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin
Cook.
Cook. You don't know anymore with running backs because you see these top level running backs not get a contract when they're 30. Like Dalvin Cook was one of the best backs in the league for how many years? And I mean, he sat out there for a pretty long time. Zeke Elliott's kind of fallen off, but
Mhm.
he sat out there. It's crazy to see how long. So I don't know. I don't know if it moves the needle for me. I mean, it could, but
No.
Yeah.
strange.
Let's just dive. Hold on, you guys. Wait a minute. Wait for it. I got to put on another of one of my things. I guess when I start to do this, I don't have to announce that I'm going to put on a graphic, do I? Is that how it goes?
Just do it.
I was just supposed to just do it. I can't even read it. Hold
Ooh,
on, this
that's
is rude.
lit.
I can't.
Ooh, that's lit.
To
I
write
can't.
that. So we have to do a fun fact out there. Let's throw out a fun fact. I have one. I know we have a fun fact about the kicker that we're going to talk about that in a second. I want to talk about a fun fact about Canton, Ohio. I was just recently there for the Fantasy Football Expo. I know, Lena, you were just there to watch the the Hall of Fame
game. Mhm.
Yes. So I thought this was interesting. Fun fact. Hold on a second. Okay. Why in the world is the Pro Football Hall of Fame based in Canton, Ohio? Anybody know why it is?
Oh, I did know this once.
Wait, hold on.
Ooh, that's lit.
No? Okay. No, who would know?
Not
I
me.
would never know. I would never know. Well, you know what? You guys are going to know now. And that's for watching the podcast. One of the things we want to do here is teach you guys something new every day. So you can bring out these fun facts at your next get together. So between the years 1921 and 1923, there was a team named the Canton Bulldogs that went 25 straight games without a defeat, 22 wins and 3 ties, and won 2 NFL championships. In fact, NFL legend Jim Thorpe played for them during that time. As of now, their unbeaten streak is the longest in NFL history. Therefore, due to their early success, the NFL decided to place the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. There you guys have it. So,
Makes sense.
Yeah,
They earned it.
there
That's
we go.
a cool fact.
That is
That
cool.
is a cool fact. We also do you have the fact out, Lysandra, on the kickers and what happened to
Yes.
why we ice out the kickers? Do we need
Well-
to put the graphic back on or no? We got it the first.
I mean, you can if you want.
Hold on.
I live.
Ooh, that's lit.
Yes.
I don't even
So
know how to do that with this program. Good for you.
Fun kicker fact.
Yes.
I was like, wow, how did you do that?
So tonight's fun kicker fact is icing the kicker. The strategy began or started to become more widely used in around 2007 when the Broncos coach Mike Shanahan called a timeout to ice the Oakland Raiders kicker Sebastian Janikowski. The move paid off and the Broncos won the game. And from there, more coaches have adapted the strategy despite protests from the kicker saying it's unfair.
There you go.
I mean, it's
And
not
now we have
unfair.
icing out the kicker, which I think really does work. I mean, obviously, I
Not
don't
for
know.
us. You just let our guy kick. It's fine. He's iced as soon as he gets on the field.
Unbelievable. All right, let's just go there. You brought it up, Ryan. So let's just go
I'm
there.
just
Like,
saying.
You
it's
totally
Cade-
went there.
Yeah, I mean, you did. You brought up the elephant in the room, which for us as Browns fans is Cade York. I mean, I potentially can see Cade York losing a game for us. And
Yeah.
I think it's funny now,
Yes.
but it won't be in the season. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
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 He's definitely a liability. I mean, the kicker is an important position. Whether people want to admit it or not, I don't know if you all pay attention on what is it, X now, Twitter. But I think for a while there, before this last game that Cade York was in, some people kind of were saying, the kicker doesn't matter, but the kicker totally matters.
Oh, well,
it
you
should
got
matter.
Well, let's talk about it. I know that you have some facts out there where the kicker mattered greatly. Super Bowl wins and Super Bowl losses, came down to a kicker.
Mhm.
Yeah. Actually, there was just a couple I was gonna go over.
Mhm.
But just to give you an idea, I mean, championships are on the line. For example, in the 1991 Super Bowl 25, Scott Norwood's 47-yard attempt with 8 seconds left, with the Bills trailing 20-19, missed. That was their second of 4 consecutive Super Bowl losses. So that's a real tough break. Wow.
And the Buffalo Bills too. They've had it hard.
Yes.
They've had it
Yeah.
rough, too.
I think the Bills had it
Mhm.
probably the worst.
Mhm.
Let's see. We also have Billy Cundiff back in January 2012, 32-yard field goal miss with 15 seconds left. That would have sent the Ravens to the Super Bowl. Instead, the Patriots went.
I remember
So,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Billy. Good Billy.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
Billy.
Yes.
And and lastly, from our very own former Cleveland Brown, Cody Parkey, God bless him, back in January of 2019, the Bears were losing 16-15 to the Eagles with 10 seconds left in the NFC wildcard game, and his 43-yard field goal double doinked off of the upright, thus calling it the double doink play. So the kicker is definitely one of those very important positions. And if you're not there mentally, it's going to cost you. Which leads me to Lana talking about the mental.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did some looking into the mental side of kicking. And there is actually a syndrome, the Blair Walsh syndrome, Vikings kicker who had 85% completion, wild card game against Seattle, and an easy 27-yarder he missed. And then going into the next season, he just never recovered. He kept choking. And do not laugh at this, but he says it's because of the laces. Like, laces out, Dan.
Who is he, Ray Finkel?
Man was real serious about that.
What?
I said Ray Finkel was real serious about that. And
Serious. And I was like, oh my, no way he's saying that. No way he's saying that. No, but that's true. That's
true.
what he's stating. And
I don't think
there's an NFL psychologist who said that the players on the game, not the kicker, they have the most thinking as far as remembering plays or whatever, but the kicker has the most mental position on the team. And it makes perfect sense.
Well, anytime the kicker's on the field, it's for points.
Right.
Now, if you think about it that way, like
And
every time
they're alone. They're alone. I mean,
all eyes are on the kicker. Everyone's
then at the same time, that's your only job.
right. And you
have
just-
Someone's
one
gonna
job.
show the other side of it.
Yeah, you just see that on Cade's face. I saw it on Cade's face at training camp. He kept missing, and I'm just watching his face, and I'm like, "Oh,
What
man,
he was
we are in
missing? I
trouble."
thought, according to training camp, he was like undefeated or
Not the day
No.
I was there.
you were there.
Uh-uh.
Well,
Monday.
I
I
do
want to
feel
go
bad.
back to a comment from our friend Ed in Columbus that was up here talking about K Dirk. I want K Dirk's autograph, but I never
That's a great comment.
extra photos in case he goes, why?
That
why?
is good.
Good one, Ed.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
I do feel bad for him. I do, like, because
I
it's
do.
easy. Like, it's easy to make jokes and this and that, but think about it this way: as bad as we want this dude to make kicks, how bad does he want to make a kick? You know.
I
I
know.
mean, like sometimes I think sometimes as fans we forget they're alive and they're people and they they have
Yeah.
feelings too, because we get really caught up in wins and losses and numbers, which I could go on a whole tirade about how people ruin sports. Like you can't even enjoy sports anymore because
Mhm.
there's so many people out there to beat on your head that this doesn't matter if you don't win and this. It's like MF. Only one team wins every year. I'm 40 years old. One time in my entire existence was Cleveland the last team standing. One time. So I have to find other things to be happy about. So I'll give you a good example. Noah Syndergaard, he came here. Poor Thor. He's having a rough go at it, you know? And he came from LA where it wasn't any good for him over there anymore. And it's just because his body won't let him do it anymore. He got ripped up in the last game he pitched. He's doing his post game, and it almost looked like the man wanted to cry. He's like, I love this game so much. And you can tell he's almost realizing I can't do it. And it's sad, you know. And I look at Cade York, he has all the talent in the world, and he kicked a 75,000-yard field goal to beat Baker Mayfield. It was great. But at the end of the day, if you can't kick from 40 to 49, which is what the NFL actually needs you to do, not boot 65-yard field goals, that's cool once in a while. But if you're not good from 40 to 49, I don't know. And it's like, you know that in his head, and like you said, you see it on his face, you hear it on his hear it. It's like,
Yeah.
as much as it's making us just, and I'm not saying poor him, keep him on the team and let him miss field goals. I'm just saying it's okay to realize this dude, you know, he wants to make field goals as bad as, and more, way more, because it's his job than we could ever want to, as much as we think. So
Right.
that's my, I feel bad for you, Cade.
Yeah.
I'm drinking some water to you.
I mean, but he doesn't want it bad enough to make them.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
and then-
once that he just can't. I want to be a scratch golfer, but I can't do it.
Right.
And the
No,
Browns are getting put in a position too because they drafted him. So it's almost
Yeah,
like they
they're
have to give
screwed.
him more chances because
Mhm.
he's a draft pick. I mean, even the
I mean,
Browns should know you don't draft a kicker.
that's why you dropped the kids.
Fantasy
Haven't we done it
rules.
twice recently? Is it? Didn't we draft Seibert or didn't we draft another kicker recently too?
I hope we should probably draft one this year or
Was
next
his
year.
name Austin Seibert or Seibert or something? Didn't we draft?
don't know.
Probably.
No,
I don't
no.
know.
I don't recall.
We tried to draft kickers. We do try. I don't know if that's good or not.
Yeah. We were talking to somebody, you mentioned a name, like we could call him Voldemort, or we could also say Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield just became the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What
Oh,
do you guys
Baker.
think of that? I mean, I feel sorry for the guy,
Yay.
but
He beat out Kyle Trask.
I was
That's,
gonna say,
that's
who
some
did he
bragging
beat out?
rights.
True.
poor
Man, you know
Baker.
what?
Yay.
I do truly, when he was here and things were good and we had that good year,
When
like
it was
I
good, it
really
was great.
loved, I
One
really
good
loved
year.
that one year. Remember that year?
That
Yeah.
year, yeah, we better.
He was all about Cleveland, you know, him and Emily out doing good things in the community. And I was like, this may be our freaking guy, you know? And then the next year came, you know,
Yeah.
and he just struggled. He struggles everywhere he goes. I mean, he's just not.
I
I
think
don't know.
that his big mistake was just not taking a back seat when he got hurt.
Right. But and why didn't anybody
But
make
was-
him take
yeah,
a back
was that
seat
his
either?
decision though?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like maybe old Kevin there just kind of knew what he had and just said, "Go ahead and play. We don't want you anyway."
I'm thinking about somebody
he had an
else.
injury you can play with. I mean,
Yeah.
it is.
It's almost
It's not like
like
that was his only bad year. I mean, if you remember the
No.
year
True.
before our playoff year, he was really bad too. I mean,
Yeah.
and then he left and he was healthy and he was still bad. So at some
Yeah.
point in time, we got to let the shoulder go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I
Oh,
think
oh,
I
Ed.
Ed.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, yes, there's that. And
Oh, I get it now.
I think that we just all made big. Okay, I'll speak for myself because I was one of those major. I love Baker Mayfield. Don't you talk bad about Baker Mayfield type of people.
Yep.
But I think we try to make him great, and he's never great. I think he's never going to be a Pat Mahomes. He's never going to be a
No.
Jalen Hurts. He's just going to be an average quarterback.
Mhm.
I see him sitting on the bench soon, but guess what? He's making more money than me, so I guess he's laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, I would sit on the bench
Oh,
for a
it's
couple
Kate,
$1 billion.
Right?
Put me on the bench. I would love to sit on the bench. You would go. You don't have to worry about nothing. You just right, chill, watch the
Yep.
game, and get paid. You know.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
there- I totally just completely had a brain fart for a second. I don't know what I was thinking about. I was trying to think if there's any injuries to talk about. Any new injuries?
You?
I think the only thing I don't know if Terry McLaren, I don't know if you heard about this. I think it's turf toe.
I
4 to
didn't hear
6
about
weeks
that.
recovery on that.
Ooh.
That's the thing that sucks about the preseason. What do you guys think about like a lot of teams now I see are starting starters? I don't remember them starting these starters playing so much in the preseason. Is this new or what do you guys think about the starters playing in the preseason? You think they should or not? Ryan?
I think maybe. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh,
I don't mind
matter.
it. You gotta start playing football. And I know that people worry about injuries, but I almost feel like if you don't get into football shape and go out there and
Mhm.
play at full speed or as close to full speed and get your body loose, take a few hits, like I think it's worse off if you just sit everybody. Because then you're trying to get your body right into the regular season. I'm not saying play the whole game or play an absurd amount, but I think Watson and gang should play up until almost halftime in the last game.
Lysandra, what were you
They're
saying?
going to get until Cincinnati.
I think it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you want to preserve the goods that's going to get you to where you want to the promised land. So,
Mhm.
you know, you have on one hand, you want, to preserve your best players, but on the other hand, you want to get those hits in, you want to get those reps in, you want to get that timing down with your receivers. And it's super important to do that. But at the same time, at what risk? We got a $230 million quarterback. So I'm actually okay with maybe the first quarter. But maybe the first quarter of every game. But, these guys are going to be playing 17 games in the season. And if you don't have your shit together by the time training camp's over, then, good luck to you. Because I think, it's going to take some time. I mean, you want your team to succeed through the season, but you also want them to peak at the right time because, in the NFL come playoff time, I personally think a lot of it is the timing of when the teams peak. If we're peaking at, the third week of the season and we're falling down that roller coaster there towards the end of the season, we're not gonna be successful in the playoffs or make the playoffs. So you want to have that kind of that happy median and make sure that your players are peaking at the right time.
Mhm. Yeah, we have it that early bye this year too as well.
I know.
We have a really long stretch.
Yeah.
And the AFC North is battling each other early in the season.
Right.
You see, do you guys see that as an advantage or a disadvantage? Or
I see
It's
an
a-
advantage for
I do
game
too.
one because Joe Burrow's not going to be there, and that could get that first win of the season can get that confidence going and just get that gravy train going.
well, the Browns, we own the Bengals.
We do,
we
but now
got
we're
one
really
and
going to
five
own them.
this-
Except for one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah, that one time.
The one game.
There's always that one time.
How much
And
time
then-
is he supposed to miss?
They
What?
said several weeks, whatever that
Yeah.
means. Yeah.
7.
So
Yeah.
maybe by the third game.
So the other thing too is, not only the AFC North, but the AFC in general there's a lot of
Stacked.
good teams.
Mhm.
But there's always a team that has been in the playoffs a couple years. That sort of just they're always going to have that year where they fall off. And because I think we're much better, you could say Miami's better. You could say the Jets are better. You know, there's all these teams. You know, is Jacksonville still going to be as good? How about the Chargers? There's so many teams in the AFC, our entire division, but somebody's going to make it. So
Yeah, the
you know, if you
AFC
had
is
an AFC team, like an AFC team that made the playoffs last year, they could have a down year, a surprising down year.
someone's gonna have a down year, and
I'm going to go to the
yeah,
Bills.
It's not us.
I don't know.
Putting it out there.
I don't think the Jets are
Well,
gonna
I'm
do that
talking
great.
playoff team. So the guys that were there, like somebody's going to have to move if we're going to go in, or if, you know, the Jets are going to go in. So, like, to me, for some reason, I'm just going to say the Bills. I just think the Bills are going to have an off year. Something
Too
seems
much
off.
drama. Too much
Yeah.
drama. You have
More
Diggs
came
wanting out.
today.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Edmonton's on Wednesday. I want to forget about that. Let's
Dead
talk
Will.
about that. It's so funny. I wanted to tell you, Anthony out there that said he does not like the bye week is the worst.
The
Yeah.
early bye
Or,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It
Is bad.
Jed Willis, I guess he's another one that doesn't know whether to go left or right either.
Right? Ugh.
So we have that as well. Eddie.
He's not bad.
Don't get any pictures with him as well. That oh
True.
gosh. Yeah, my watch is going off like crazy. We're gonna talk a little bit about fantasy football in here for a second, but I am in about 12 million leagues, and every league is I get a notification. It's connected to my iWatch. I have to figure out how to stop that. But I swear to God, I go through a battery like every 3 hours because this thing is I should probably never mind. I was gonna say something dirty there, but I stopped myself in case there's any kids
Even
watching.
PG,
but-
there's sponsors
But-
watching.
I mean, holy moly, all day this thing's vibrating, you know? Almost gets as much as use as another vibrating object in my house.
Nope.
I went there. I couldn't. I set myself up for the joke and I had to close it out. You know what I mean? I had to close it out.
So you actually needed the field goal there. You saw the opportunity and just knocked it through.
Right through the doubles.
Right through the hips. Oh, wait a minute. You guys, I didn't do something. I
Oh,
messed
you
up
did?
this one. Hold. Kicker beat, just kick it. Just oh my god, don't quit your day job.
I
So
heard that
that
little.
Yeah. I mean, I really can sing like Mariah Carey. I just have a cold.
I believe you.
Anyways, yes. Oh God. Okay. Hold on. If you guys see somebody else coming, like I said, we have 2 guests coming on the show. I feel bad. They wanted to know what we're going to talk about today, and I said I sent them back a smiley face.
We don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, listen,
Guys.
I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I did make a really fun fact, Jeff. So that's all that matters. I did my kickers. Do I have anything else to talk about with? I think I gave you guys all the graphics you're going to get tonight. So hopefully you're not going to stay just for the graphics because we have a lot more to talk about. Anyways, I know Ryan's not as into fantasy football as we are. Actually given the opportunity to join our fantasy league that we're starting, and he declined.
I didn't know it was time sensitive. It's not that I intentionally declined. I thought there was a lot more. Like, you sent me the link today.
No, it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
it?
Oh, was it yesterday?
Yeah,
Let me see.
shame.
it was
Telling you.
yesterday. I could swear it was yesterday.
Oh, it was totally. Oh my. Wait, hold on. No.
Yeah.
I need fantasy football university.
Well, I cannot wait to talk and dish right into all that fantasy talk. This is your first year playing fantasy football, and it's so exciting. I love new people when they get in because I could live
It was
vicariously.
9 a.m. today. You sent it as soon as I started working.
You're a liar face. Was
I
it today?
checked.
Liar.
Yeah.
No, because the league was already filled up by 9 a.m. today. Why would I send you an invite by 9 a.m. today?
That sounds like something you would do.
True. And maybe it was just like sitting there and then I accidentally pressed whatever. I don't believe that. I'm gonna go back and look. That doesn't make any sense. But anyways, we got a really fun league together. So I'm excited to get started. It's gonna be for charity. I decided to work donate to fantasycares.org. Oh my
That's
God. Sorry, I got it. It's just so distracting. Which they do. I don't know if you guys know a lot about the Scott Fish Bowl, but it's a pro football league. You know, people like me that are really awesome at fantasy football get invited to. Not everybody gets invited to that, but guess what? I bet you somebody might get invited to it now out of the league, because they do give away invitations for people that do things like how we're having a league. They might say, well, thank you for doing that, and give somebody an invite to the Scott Fish Bowl. How would you guys like that?
Well, do you guys think I'll get invited after this year?
You never
You
know.
may.
You never know.
Being the fantasy
Stranger
football
things can
virgin that I
happen.
am.
Oh my gosh. Oh, speaking of, I have somebody else here.
All right.
How do I bring him in? All right, this is going to be
Oh.
so fun. You guys, this is my first time bringing someone in. I don't know why I had to pronunciate that, but it is. All right, let's go. Guess what? You're
Welcome.
live. You went
Yay.
straight from unlive to right to live.
Look
How
at
do you like
you.
that?
You are a technological master. I am so listen, I didn't think you were gonna get there, and I'm just glad to be part of this now, because I thought I was gonna sit in the backstage for a half hour.
Were you there for that long?
No, not
Okay.
at all. I just jumped back in.
All right. I was trying to look, to make sure that you guys are there. Well, let's go and introduce Louie. Do you don't wear anything Buffalo Bills?
I have a Bills hat on and a Bills. I got my Hamlin Strong shirt on.
All
Oh,
right,
I
all
mean,
right,
come
all
great
right.
on.
shirt. That's a great
Yeah.
shirt.
Thank you very much.
So
I
happy to
love
see
it.
appreciate
him back.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, Louie, if you like, we just became best friends.
Somehow we became best friends within the last 3 weeks. I don't know how it happened.
Now we just have to be on each other's podcast every other podcast. I'm going on his podcast tomorrow because he came on my podcast today, but that's okay. One day we'll be good enough to not need each other. How do you like that?
Whoa, speak for yourself. All right.
Well,
You're gonna always need me. Okay. I know that for sure. Me on the other hand, I will always hope that you're around. Need is a strong word. I don't need nobody. I don't need no woman.
Whatever.
We don't need no man.
Yeah, exactly. How you like them?
Well,
Bam.
look at the time. I didn't know it was already that late.
Are you out of here, Ryan?
No, I'm gonna wait for when you start fantasy. Then I'll bounce.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Louie, I hope you weren't in the waiting room when I predicted the Bills to be the team that falls off in the AFC. I'm sorry about that. I didn't know that we had.
I was not. If you don't mind me like running with that for a second, I like I care. I'm gonna
I know,
talk,
right?
and no one can stop me now, bitch. I'm sorry, but no, I started. This is only a half joke. In the beginning of the year or off season, I really thought this might be a down year for them. With Josh going through the personal stuff he's going through with the breakup and like whatever. Listen, I just went through a separation. I know how hard that can be on a life. I'm only half joking around. I'm like, I don't know if the dude's head's in it, but now he's with that Haley Steinfeld chick, and she is so much hotter. And he's gonna be
Are you serious?
okay. He is gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna win the division.
What about
Diggs?
Holy
No,
moly.
listen, the Diggs thing is definitely real. So
Yeah.
in a town like Buffalo, we hear, you hear almost everything that happens. I know Cleveland's very similar, but we're even smaller in the sense that we are very, very connected, and a he said, she said story usually gets around to everybody. It's like a bad game of telephone. But there's absolutely no doubt that the Diggs thing was real, is real, was a thing. I think the Stephen A shit today with like him coming out and saying, oh, I have sources that say he wants out still. I think that's BS. I think that he did want out. I think he was unhappy. I think it's definitely been squashed. the incident, the quote unquote rumored incident with Josh and his ex that like could have may or may not been a domestic thing and whatever, bad breakup, public breakup. The rumor is it happened the night before the Bengals game. So I could understand as Stefon Diggs, just as a competitor, like people want to just shit on him right away because he's had some bad attitude problems in the past. But like I can see as a competitor coming in and being like, dude, like this is the night before the biggest game of our lives. And you're got caught cheating, like messing around. Like, where's your head at?
right.
So I think there was a little bit of that tension between the two of them. I want to believe that it's over and done with, and we're gonna have a productive year this year.
All right, real quick before we say hi to Tyler, like I want to say something quick about Louis. I mean, first of all, like the first time I was on his show, he's like, "You look like the kind of girl that would watch Vanderpump Rules." And the first question that we asked him about, he brought Josh Allen's ex-girlfriend and girlfriend into it when nobody else was. I wasn't thinking about that. We were thinking about Stefon Diggs and the locker room drama.
I thought you were going to talk about the coaching, the factor.
Yeah, we were talking about
No,
girlfriend.
no,
Yeah,
listen.
man. I'm talking
Holy
Diggs.
moly!
No,
crap.
listen.
Yeah, my
The
question,
answer,
my-
not
I
the
do-
same.
I do have a question about that though, because Diggs has a reputation with kind of throwing tantrums here. He did it with the Vikings, wanted to be traded, and now he's pulling that crap again. So what do you think
Mhm.
about that?
I feel like any time that they have a down game or a bad game, that's going to be like the go ahead excuse to use, and that I think it's easy to blame him. I don't love the narrative on Stefon Diggs as much as I know he's had a couple situations. I think it just boils down to the fact that he's competitive. I do not think that he's disruptive at all.
I disagree with you. I think it's big freaking baby that doesn't want to go to practice is going to cry like a little bitch on every single team he goes to.
Listen,
That's what I think about Stefon Diggs.
Coming from a 40-year-old that has gotten in 3 fights in the last 2 years in co-ed slow pitch softball. Okay.
So you need to talk to my husband.
What is happening?
I just want you to know that I understand a competitive nature, and so I'm a little bit sympathetic.
You slow pitch softball guys. You gotta watch out for you guys.
We're trouble.
That
We're
rec
very.
league is.
We're living our dreams.
That's
You guys, let's say hi to Tyler, you guys.
Hi,
Tyler,
Tyler.
what's
Tyler.
up? Tyler.
Hello, everyone.
Tyler's also in the fantasy football community. What's the name of your podcast, Tyler?
Name of the podcast is Dynasty 365 on the Fantasy and Frames Podcast Network.
There you have it. You dismissed I don't know if you were watching earlier. There's Louis right next to us. We were all a part of the fantasy football. We were all at the expo. Tyler, I didn't get a chance to see you there, but you did say you were there, weren't you?
I was. That
Yes.
is my 3rd year running this year.
Awesome.
Wow.
You were so drunk you probably saw him 4 times and don't remember.
So,
I think he's probably right, that.
okay, yeah. Well,
I mean, what else were you going to do there? I can't imagine you wouldn't be drunk, right?
I mean, what else was there to do there? I mean,
There's
Friday
so
night
much
was
to
a
do
party.
in Canton, Ohio.
Saturday night was a party. I know, right?
I've never went to Canton and left sober. I know that.
No, me neither. Me neither.
It was a good time. I did not make it to the convention, so next year we'll make
You
it to
missed
the
out.
convention. I know. I missed out on all the action, and I didn't really get to take home any knowledge. But I really don't need to learn anything because it's all right here.
You
guys.
already know it
yeah.
all?
I mean,
It's already
hello. Speaking of, we're gonna get into fantasy football, right? And you can stay. You don't have to leave.
I know that. I'll hang out. Go ahead.
All right. Yes. Just hang out
We got
because
the cool little Brady Bunch thing.
I
going.
know. I was gonna say we
I'm
got
not
I could
three
be
and
like-
three.
Can't mess with it.
We
Yeah.
got 3 and 3 going on.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Do.
I'm
See, I
Marsha.
needed my Marsha.
I'm
game.
Marsha.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, that
Jan.
Then that would make me Cindy.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. That's okay. I'll be that. Let's dive right into fantasy football. My favorite subject to talk about. I just Tyler and Louis, I don't know if I was telling you guys I started a Browns league on X or Twitter for fantasy why do I keep messing up? Fantasy Cares, you know, the Scott Fish organization.
Yeah,
We're going to
Fantasy
donate the money
Cares.
to that. Yeah. So I started a league. I think I've halfway lost my sound. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
you
Yeah,
sound
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
All right. And I just want to talk about it. It's Lena's first time playing fantasy football, and she has the number one
Hey.
pick.
Oh
So
God.
let's start with you, Tyler. What would you do with that number one spot this year?
I'm gonna take notes, Tyler. Go.
I have a lot of questions. I need
Oh, yeah.
background.
Okay, about what the league is, and that's how I know you're a fantasy football player, because only a real fantasy football player is going to say, "Well, you got to give me a little bit more than that." You know what I mean? So we are doing a 12-person redraft, full point PPR league. We're gonna do 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex spots, no kicker, and a defense. Not gonna do a super flex because a lot of people's first time, so just kind of start off with the basic 1 quarterback leave, 2
I love
flexes.
Superflex.
I know super flex leagues are really, really fun,
Fun.
but I just thought, let's just keep it,
Simple.
yeah, to make
Let's
it
do that.
less complicated for people that are starting, just to start there. So
Mhm.
with that being said, just a regular redraft league, the number one pick is right there. There's a lot of right answers on this. So what's yours, Tyler?
All right. I'm going to be boring, and I'm going to go Justin Jefferson in full point PPR. Wide receivers are more reliably healthy than running backs, and the full point PPR is too much. Justin Jefferson's going to set some records this year if Kirk Cousins stays healthy all year. So I feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
All right. So, Louis, what do you think about that? Are you thinking a wide receiver in that spot, or do you rather take like a CMC there? Or
No,
what would you take in that spot?
I'm going to agree with Tyler there. Like, and disagree with you a little bit where you say there's a lot of choices. I do think after the number one, you're 100% right. I think from the 2 to 6, those guys are all interchangeable. But at the number one spot, I think it's a pretty easy decision to pick Jefferson this year. Running backs are a little bit too fragile. Jefferson, like Tyler said, is just on a crazy pace. I do think that there is a little bit of worry for Jefferson. I mean, how many times Tyler, you might know this offhand, but and I don't, but I'm sure it's a low percentage. How many times is the number one person drafted the number one fantasy player? Very seldomly. But what you want is your best chance at it. There are some things that, like, I think Cousins might come down to earth a little bit. They had a lot of luck last year with a lot of different things, just even in wins and such. I do like Jordan Addison, who is another guy that's going to be taking targets from Jefferson, and TJ Hawkinson's going to have a full year there as the tight end. So I do think Jefferson kind of comes down a little bit in targets and game script, but at the end of the day, like, it's, even if he came down 10%, he's still the best wide receiver in the league by far. So Jefferson, I think, is the easy pick at 1-1 this year.
Well, shocker. I disagree with you guys. I think Justin Jefferson, of course, the argument can be had for Justin Jefferson, definitely. There's not, the volume's going to be there, but I think that you guys are just letting the poor running backs. The running backs are the Jans of the leagues. I'm telling you, fantasy football, the running backs always used to be the number one pick. And I don't think that's changed. Actually, I feel like I might even take Bijan Robinson number one overall. I think that he could be someone that by the end of the year could be that number one person. The way to win fantasy football is to take chances. If you don't take a risk on a flyer like someone like Bijan Robinson, you could look back at the end of the year and be like, damn, I thought he might be good, but I didn't want to pull the trigger because he's a rookie. So he's like Elena. It's his first time, but I always think that gives you an advantage. So I guess that, but if you take Justin Jefferson, CMC, you're going to take whoever you feel comfortable and how you want to build your team. That's why you should start doing mock drafts and things like that. After she takes her pick, it's Lysondra's there with the number 2 pick. So if she doesn't take Justin Jefferson, she doesn't take a running back. then you'll be there to snag that. I'd much rather have the second pick than the first pick. I don't want that first decision. I want someone else to make that decision for me. I'd rather take the second one.
Give it to the virgin.
Yes.
I think the virgin should always get the number one pick.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
yeah, I'm number 2, and I agree with the Justin Jefferson take, and I do agree with the running back take. But I'm going to throw a little bit of a kicker in there and go with probably Travis Kelce as possibly one of the number 1 picks that I would probably go with. You know, the Chiefs are down to Sky Moore being their number 1, I believe, and it just seems like Kelce's going to continue to get those targets. So if you're looking for those points, I would say Kelce. But if I'm not going with the tight end, I really am a running back girl. But if we're going to go with just kind of off the wall picks, then I would probably go with Travis Kelce.
Awesome. You brought up something good about Kansas City. I think I agree. I think Travis Kelce is going to be Pat Mahomes' number 1 target in Kansas City. I know there's a lot. Who's going to be the wide receiver? He likes to give the ball to more than one person.
Right.
Doesn't
But
matter.
when Kelce doesn't get it, there has to be somebody out there. I mean, is the Kadarius Toney guy in the equation at all anymore? Or is he
I don't know.
hurt? Is he hurt?
He's in the picture. I think I've seen some good things out of Sky Moore, but you know, Mahomes just has that rapport with Kelce. They just have that connection, and that's definitely going to be his first look every time, I think.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
in high stakes, like in the main event and things with FFPC, like the big guys are, when they're drafting Mahomes, they're drafting Kelce. Like both of these guys are drafting in stacks. Like they want all the big time players want both of them together. I don't know in anything outside of a best ball league. Like I don't even know if I'd want to take a chance of starting a KC wide receiver each week. It's gonna be just the same way it's been over the last few years. Even with Tyreek Hill, obviously he was the best one, but there was always a secondary guy that would just pop off 1 week. So in best ball, I love those guys. Like I love just trying to, if I have Mahomes, just trying to get like Sky Moore, Toney, the whole 9. But in a lineup league, I don't want to decide each week which one of those guys is going to pop off, because it's going to be different each week, the way he spreads the ball around.
I'm going to take Jerick McKinnon. Screw the wide receivers. Jerick McKinnon is probably going to be his number 2 target.
Yeah, could be very easily.
I got a
Sorry.
question.
Sure.
So the only fantasy league I'm in, I'm not any vets because she sent me the invite for it after. So
You snooze,
that
you lose.
anyway, the only league I'm in, it's cool because we draft 2 quarterbacks. We start 2 quarterbacks. So kind of it makes you think a little different. And it's a PPR league. We call it the bucket leagues. Like we're just getting buckets. Like the scores of the games are 210 to 190. You know, it's like that.
Love it.
So it's fun because I'm just thinking I always try to draft either a wide receiver or quarterback first, and then get another quarterback as quick as you can. Do you have any strategies? Have you ever done a league with 2 quarterbacks? Anything like that you have any kind of strategy for? Because I'm usually good for the first few picks, and then after that, I'm like, it's almost like when you have to worry about 2 top-tier quarterbacks in the opening 5 to 7 rounds. It sort of throws me off the rest of the way.
Ryan, do you know what position you're drafting in?
Not
Like,
yet. I think it's gonna be. I came in. I think it just goes based on the winner gets the number 1 pick or something like that. I'm probably in the 6 or 7 range out of, I think there's 12 of us, something like that.
I think when those, I don't know, you guys would agree with this. When it comes like to the 2 quarterback leagues, it makes it a lot easier when you have those first, second, third pick, because you're going to get one of those great top.
That's where you kind of
quarterbacks
get screwed up, because it's like, do I try to get the 2 top tier quarterback or the best 2, or should I worry about filling out my wide receivers because I know I'm going to get a lot of points from them, or running backs? So it kind of screws you up when you're in the middle of those drafts.
Yeah, I just feel comfortable if like by the first 4 rounds I have 2 quarterbacks in a super flex league. Personally, I feel more comfortable because once you get past a certain, like a quarterback, I think maybe after maybe Dak Prescott over there, it starts to like, you know what I mean? Equalize a little bit, and you want to get that edge over it. I don't know. You guys have any input on the 2 quarterback league, super flex?
So
Go ahead,
Ryan, I know you asked like if I had any experience, and this is not trust me, this is not a brag. This is a cry for help. But I'm in I am in 122 Superflex Dynasty League.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
Cry for help is correct.
It's definitely a cry for help. Remember when I told you I was separated recently? Yeah, that's why. That's a big reason.
Shocker.
Fantasy, but no. So, and my strategy always with those is get your quarterbacks. Now, Dynasty's a little bit better than or different than redraft, but like I want to get one of the top quarterbacks and never have to think about it again, especially in Dynasty. So, but in redraft, it's a little bit different. And you're 100% right about it. All depends on where you're at. To me, there's kind of like a really big teardrop. Obviously, after the first 3 guys, Hurts, Allen, and Mahomes, and then there's the Burrow, Lawrence. Tyler, help me out.
Lamar, Justin
Fields.
Herbert.
Yep. And so that's at next tier. And then after that, it gets scary. And so I was at the 11 spot last night for the Deep End Invitational, which is a super flex league. And I was hoping to God that Lawrence was the last guy of that tier that would fall to me at 11. And he did, but it was just quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. And I think after that tier, after Lawrence falls off, and if it just goes like that, you're 100% justified in getting one of the top players in another position, because I do feel like after Lawrence, QB say 9 or 10 to QB 22 are kind of all the same range of outcomes and the same tier. So I think that's when you can kind of slow down after those guys are gone. Tyler?
Thank you. See, I'm glad I stayed. Now I might not be terrible.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Louis. I mean, I'll let the board fall to me. You know, as you mentioned, Trevor Lawrence is on that kind of second tier of quarterbacks behind those top 3. If he wasn't there, I'm just going position. I'm going wide receiver. I'm going running back, and I'll let it fall to me. I don't need 2 quarterbacks coming out of the 4th round. If I left a super flex draft with Derek Carr and Jared Goff as my 2 quarterbacks, I'd be ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any of those lower tiers, like, I know Tennessee, I think they're going to start, Indy, they're going to start maybe rookies, or Indy is, I think. Like, are there any of those quarterbacks that you see that you wouldn't necessarily consider, when you look at it at the surface level of having a lot of value, but in a pinch, if somebody, the quarterback is sitting there, like, is there any of those 20 to 32 guys that you think, yeah, it's such and such, but on this team and this system, this might work for?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get consistency with Brock Purdy. He's not going to light the world on fire, but you can damn well bet he's going to score you 15, no more, no less, every single week. He's not going to lose you the game.
And that's what you want in fantasy football, is that someone that you could just put into the slot that, just going to do their job.
Okay.
You guys talked a little bit about ADP, which is average draft position. To someone like Lena, who's just starting, how much importance do you think that she should pay attention to average draft position when she's going into the draft? And like that would be like in the rosters where you see how they have the rankings. Like some people, I like them when they rank them tier based, because I think, it gets kind of cloudy, and like when some of them are kind of, but what do you guys think about average draft position?
I think when you're playing in a home league, you got to know your league. That's the number one rule with fantasy football. Know your league, know who's playing in it. I know Lysandra, I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah.
You're not a newbie, so I don't know about the rest of the league. Like, are you playing with a bunch of sharps or not? But ADP can definitely be a consideration.
Yeah, I actually don't consider the average draft placement when I look at teams. I actually kind of set up a spreadsheet, and then what I do is I break everything up into rankings on offensive line. So
Nice.
I break everything down by offensive line. So I have the top 10 offensive line color coded out. Then I have a second tier, a third tier, a fourth tier, and the bottom. And then I kind of split everything out by that. And then I kind of look like if I'm sitting there on the draft board and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, do I want, I'm trying to think of somebody off the top of my head. Do I want Alvin Kamara, or am I going to go for somebody that has like a better offensive line behind him? I also kind of look into bye weeks, so I color code everything. So if I'm looking, I will trade when I need to during the season, but I really like to get everything that I need up front. And so, the less work that I need to do on a bye week, the better. So I'm looking at the ranking of the offensive line. I'm looking at the overall ranking of the player, but I think that the ranking to the players can be a little skewed, because if you have a shitty offensive line behind you, you're not gonna have great blocking as a running back, or your quarterback isn't going to have enough time to get the ball down the field to his best wide receiver. So that's where I'm probably not going to, I don't know. I'm really iffy about Aaron Rodgers, for example. I've been watching Hard Knocks, and that second episode, they were, Saleh was going, I know, but he's going off on them about how weak their offensive line is. And, I know Aaron Rodgers can make plays, but how long can he last in the season taking those hits? Because he's been known to suffer when his offensive line isn't protecting him properly. Like, he's going to get his points. He's going to get the ball down the field. But is he going to be able to survive 17 games in the season with a shitty line?
No.
So,
and then he's going to cry like a big baby.
So for me, I'm really kind of high on, like last year for my draft, I looked at offensive line rankings, and I went all in on Jalen Hurts, and he had a hell of a season last year. So I'm going to take that with me this year and see where it takes me.
I'm going to need you to send me that spreadsheet.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I'll Venmo you some money.
I could give you all a peek. I have it up right now. But yeah, I have everything kind of color coded, and I kind of have everything ranked by how I feel the offensive line is going to support the quarterback. That's super important to me.
Yep.
Good.
I'd like to play a little bit to the average draft position, but I'm always about, like Holly always say, go get your guys. I kind of already know who I want, and I've learned most of the time to take who I want, because they're not going to get back to you. I think I have the 5th pick in our league. I'm trying to think. I think I'm in the 5th. And yeah, do you have it up?
I'm going to look.
So yeah, so in the Browns league, we have a couple people in the Scott Fish Bowl that are in there. So
you are number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Out of a 12 person. So yeah. So I'm not going to tell you guys who I want.
I was gonna see.
Just let it out.
Yeah, I was really close. I mean, I've already gave away too much.
Come on, that is for the content. You got to give it away now.
Right. I like doing mock drafts. Anybody? Are you guys fans of mock drafts? Not fans of mock drafts?
I have done 1 or 2, but I feel like what will be. I know what I want, and I have my plan, and I go to my fantasy football drafts with my laptop and my color coded spreadsheet, and that usually scares off some of the guys. So
good girl. Yeah, heck yeah, come in there prepared.
It's a good time. I mean, honestly, if you really want to know what my ultimate goal is I would love to create a huge database of all things football and use SQL code to come up with trends and everything on who I should pick for daily fantasy and stuff like that.
Something for this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Wait,
a girl after my own heart. I love it.
I was gonna say I have something for this. You're like in the right place. We know the fantasy community is the biggest nerds. If you want to like, oh wait, here it goes.
I'm
Man.
telling you, if I would be able to take like, if I could take like home games, score, weather, the color of the jersey
my
that they're
gosh.
wearing, and write out a code and be like, you know what, if he's more likely to win, if Patrick Mahomes is more likely to win in a red jersey in Kansas City when it's 65 and
Oh, we have
sunny.
more people here.
Yes.
Oh, look, Roger.
Yeah.
I'll take a copy too.
So
You guys-
that's my ultimate goal, is to maybe one day write some code and maybe put out an app or something that predicts people's picks. So who knows?
Yeah,
There you go. You're on your way to Vegas already.
that's right. That's
I
right.
know.
I'm
Oh,
going with you
Oops,
to
that
Vegas.
was last week. Sorry, guys. How do I get off of that? Oh my god, I got too carried away here. See what happens when you think
Oh,
you're,
God.
when you
Just
think
hit
you're
the-
too good
Like
for.
graphics everywhere.
Wait, I could throw this one on.
Too many graphics. Oh yeah,
That
that's a good
works.
one.
Is that okay?
That's a
Yeah,
good
it's
one.
fine.
You can leave that there.
It's a good
That's the
one.
right
I'm not
one.
trying to plug my podcast. Everyone, please subscribe to my podcast on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we gave it to the people today. I mean, I gave you freaking an intro. I gave you graphics.
You did.
I mean,
I almost
holy-
cracked when I saw that intro. I was like, look at this. This has music. There's
very
You
happy
did the
to
damn
dance.
thing.
moving around. I was,
know.
oh.
Nice.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yay.
So, like, we've been talking for an hour too in 6 minutes. See, didn't that
Great
time
job.
flies when you're having fun? I
Yes.
swear. Any last thoughts? I always feel like I don't like to go that much over an hour because I feel like if you guys
I got
close
my
your ears
final
out there.
thought-
Go
my
ahead,
final
go
thought
for it.
is I'm glad that I ran into somebody who has played 4 trillion super flex leagues. Here's
Yes.
and here's the good advice that I would have never considered being, just a passerby in the fantasy world, is that you do not need to I do not have to draft a bad quarterback because I feel like I have to in the first 5 picks.
Damn
So I
straight.
my brain would have never went to like, go get a top tier wide receiver or running back, and then go get, like you said, a Brock Purdy or somebody like that.
Mhm.
Because I would have, next thing you know, I would have been drafting somebody that like Tua, like way too high, and been mad at myself. So
Right.
thank you. I appreciate that. Now my thinking
Yes.
going into my draft can be a little different than it normally is. So that
I
was-
thought
There you go.
I thought Ryan was going to say, if I learned anything today from the guy with all the super flex leagues, is if I want to stay married, cut down my portfolio.
Here's the thing. I typically don't start anything I know I'll fail at. So that's why I never even start.
Or marry a fantasy football addict.
No, I just won't get married, then I won't fail at it because I will.
Oh,
So you're just fine on this chair.
You got plenty up here, so
Yeah. I just say, don't leave it to the guys to bring the show down and talk
Right.
about relationships,
I'm
Josh
happy.
Allen's
I'm as
ex-girlfriend.
happy as I
Hold
can
on.
be.
My
Uh,
God,
this-
there's no
Wait
crying
a
in
second.
fantasy football.
This isn't a therapy session. I thought this was a Zoom call with my therapist.
Zoom
I mean, that's what
apologize.
I thought.
That's
Jesus.
not
Group therapy.
yeah.
It's group therapy.
Group
I know.
therapy.
Jeez, oh man.
Thank
Like,
you guys.
yeah, that was
Why
so.
not?
You guys, that was so great. I really
It was so
appreciate
fun.
you guys coming on and sharing some of your insight with us. Like, let's go ahead and plug your nerd shows. Any nerds out there that wants to listen to a guy with 122 dynasty leagues?
I do.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
my,
he's
my,
one
my-
of-
Go ahead. What?
Oh, because you knew I was going to give you a compliment. That's why you let me talk. You can
Go ahead,
tell.
no.
My God.
I don't take
He's a
compliments well.
man.
That's my therapist. No, my podcast is Analytics Are for the Nerds. Tune in tomorrow. We got like a really cool lineup. We got all 3 guys from the Go Bills teams that won like $1 million last year at FFPC. I got oh my God, no, I'm forgetting. I got Pat Carrain on Thursday, which will be a lot of fun. And then I have Justin Herzig tomorrow as well. So there's tomorrow's show should be a lot of fun. We're going 2 hours. I'm drafting my first main event of the year, which is a $2,000 entry in the FFPC, and we'll be doing that live on the stream. So yeah, tune in. It's a comedy slash fantasy football podcast. We always do a fun draft at on each podcast where we draft stupid imaginary shit. It's always fun. And bet you won the only one you've ever done. So
Naturally.
So that's tune in, subscribe, just like you are to Bougie Sports, because I have a divorce to pay for. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And I would please
That was the podcast. That was good until the end.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was a hell of a plug.
Yeah, that's and there you have it. And that's how we became best friends when we met each other at the Fantasy Football Expo. And he was so drunk the whole entire time, and I had to babysit him. But anyways,
Hey, that's a good friend right there.
That's
that
right.
is a good friend. And then Tyler, thank you for coming on, being such a good sport. I know we kind of just threw you right in and tossed you to the sauce. I told you nothing about what we were going to talk about tonight, and you still came on, so I really appreciate that.
Absolutely
Seriously,
refused to tell me anything as well. I asked you about 4 times today. Like, do you
But it
have a
wasn't so
rundown? Do you
bad.
have anything? You're like, no.
I thought I gave you a smiley face. I thought it was like.
I love
Well,
it.
anyways, yeah, it's good. I told you it's nothing crazy. So I appreciate you guys coming on, Ryan. Of course, I'm so happy that you stayed with us. Lou and
am too now.
Alessandra, you guys were amazing. I knew you guys would all be amazing. That's why I'm so happy that we're starting this together. Today I called it like a dress rehearsal because you gotta start somehow. Yeah,
And
like
without the Band-Aid.
exactly. Look at all the stuff that we did. We like freaking brought on comments and shoot. We freaking put a title screen on and stuff. I mean, I don't even know what's next. Sky's
was
the limit
lit.
for us. The sky's the limit.
That's
It
my
was lit.
favorite.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll keep every year, every show. Not every year. We're gonna learn a fun fact. So today we learned how they ice the kicker, and we learned why the Hall of Fame is in Canton. So maybe remember that, because we might actually give away some stuff when we ask you.
Yep.
Fun facts. What do you guys think about that, guys? Give away some
I'm down with that.
or-
I love giving
or-
things away.
Yes.
Yep.
So if you want to be styling and profiling, then
With homage.
sure you make sure you watch the show. Anybody else? Did we plug your show, Tyler?
We did at the beginning, but tomorrow we're live every Wednesday. Fantasy
Okay.
and Frames on YouTube. 8 p.m. It's myself and my co-host Stacy Perez on Dynasty 365. 9 p.m. we got our Fourth and Frames redraft crew, and 10 p.m. we have our Shoot the Gap IDP podcast. So it's boom, boom, boom. Wednesday night
Noted.
power hour.
All right.
There you guys go. Everybody who
Great.
wants to, who's just starting fantasy football or just looking for other places to watch content, there's 2 good podcasts for you guys to watch right there. You don't have to tell your other friends. I always used to do that when I first started. I would listen to fantasy like podcasts. I've never told anybody what I listened to. Like, what'd you listen to, Madison? In the day.
None of your
I want
business.
them to know my stuff. It was the fantasy footballers. Okay, back then.
Right.
All right, whatever. Now I don't need to listen to anyone.
They were everyone's gateway drug.
I think so. They're the best. No. Well, they were until we came along.
That's true.
Oh, real quick. I did do I already told you, Louis. Never mind. Nobody cares. Last week. I was on the pros. I was on the Fantasy Pros mock draft. Number 11 in the slot.
Someone
see?
get you fucking Adderall immediately. You
Right?
need something to control this ADHD desperately. You're like, ooh, a fucking squirrel. Look at that. Like, oh my God.
Like,
Just
I
need
don't
a
know what we're
producer.
going to talk about tonight. Hi, guys.
You've been
There you
saying
go.
you've been saying goodbye for 20 minutes.
It's the Italian goodbye.
Oh, whatever. You're captain of not bringing it in for landing, okay? All right. I guess since we're getting booted off the TV.
Hi, Louie. He came on. He's like, "Let me check out."
Jeez, oh man.
That's
I
right.
see why you're getting a divorce.
Oh,
All right, now that hurts. I feel like look at that. Look at
Below
that face.
I wish that you should have like the color bars come up after you said that. Like we got the button.
just
Yeah.
that's
That
it.
screen comes up as soon as
That's another good graphic.
Yep.
Stay tuned for
God.
that graphic. All right, fine. I'm gonna leave then. I'm just gonna say bye, and I'm just gonna
Bye.
it blew you out.
Bye.
But all right, guys, everyone, let's all take a look at the screen and give everyone the best.
Come on.
Bye.
Come on. Bye.
Go Browns! Whoop whoop!
Go
Oh yeah,
Browns!
real quick, Tyler's a Browns fan too, living in Florida, but originally from Ohio too, right?
I live in North Carolina now. I did
Oh,
live
sorry.
in Florida.
I'm sorry.
Can't keep track.
I
of it.
can't
just
keep
moved up
all
here.
my Tylers and so many, you know. I know. All right, I'm really gonna say bye this time.
For real. Goodbye.
I wish I had a closing like bye guys.
This is the most lit goodbye ever.
Yes. Yes.
It's lit.
Bye
Lit.
guys. Pleasant.
Bye.
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 I'm actually pressing bye
Bye.
now. Bye guys. Bye. 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 Oh, bye. Did it end yet? Oh no, we're still here. Bye. Bye. Okay, bye. It still says live. Oh,
I'll say
sorry.
bye.